Hey guys, today is November the 9th, 2024, and this is the 2 year anniversary of my tap out. Uh, this is the day that I tapped out. Couldn't tell you what time it was, but this is the day. So I've decided to roll out some knives and grab a piece of wood, sit down and talk to you guys about the long-term and short-term effects of being on the Alone Show. I'm gonna try not to edit this too much because I want it to be, it's all gonna be sincere. They're just sometimes I pause and stuff like that, but so I might try to knock some of them out if they get too crazy. But other than that, I'm just gonna tell you guys, how it is. I will say that, just a little disclaimer here, that none of this stuff has been medically diagnosed. This is just my observation of who I used to be and now how I feel on a regular basis. To help me get through the whole little spiel, I'm going to do some carving. This is a carving that I started working on but haven't finished yet. So if you see me not looking at the camera, I'm looking at this piece of wood. So you may see a couple of little instances like this too. So let's get into it. Let's start with the short-term effects, because I want everybody to know these short-term effects, just in case you plan on, trying to go on alone or whatever. The short-term effects that I had from it, it's kind of crazy. Insomnia. The insomnia was pretty bad, even after. Let's back up. Let me take you back to tap out. Put some of this horrible stuff in my body. After I tapped out, they put me on a boat. Everybody sees, me sailing off into whatever. But what you don't see is that they had to help me down to that boat. And then once I got to base camp, it took a few people to help me off the boat. I'm a tall person. I have long legs. I can step up on a 2 foot high whatever pretty easily. But it took a few people to help me get out of the boat because I was so tired and I was so wore out, malnutrition, that I couldn't even raise my leg. So that's the fatigue, being tired. That's one of the things, and your body has just been run through the ringer, and so when it gives up on you, it gives up on you hard. And then if you tap out and you didn't want to, I guess, because everything's going to be different for everybody. This is just for me. There was like a immediate regret, a lot of depression from it, and some of that depression still follows in when I think about it, and I, think about how I didn't win. I pushed hard, but I didn't win, and really wanted to, so on and so forth. So there's the mental side right there. Short-term depression and just extreme fatigue and insomnia. All for me. And then there was, like, I don't know how to describe it really. Almost like an addiction. You want to be back out there in the woods so bad. It's crazy because you don't want to, but at the same time you want to. And they won't let you. No matter how much you beg, they're not going to let you go back. But it's kind of like an addiction. Like, you just need to be back out there pretty damn quick. There was a lot of anxiety after I left, and that followed follows through. But there wasn't a whole lot of people at base camp. There's a whole crew, but it's not a whole lot of people. It's still manageable, and you only see a few of them. It's not like everybody comes and crowds in on you and, hey, you did a great job. No, it's like one person at a time, two at the most. And they're all very soft spoken and stuff. You know, they keep it as relaxing as possible because your brain needs that. And so there was a lot of anxiety about people. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I'll probably do that a couple of times. Let me take you back. My feet. My feet hurt really bad. They were swollen. They were red. They were, dark colored. They hurt really badly. And I had an injury to my foot beforehand. So, some of that pain came from that too. But, some of the short-term effects I'm giving you, you'll hear me say them again for the long-term because they persisted. But this is just, they were so intense in the beginning. So let's short-term, very fatigued, just extremely tired. Insomnia went away a couple of weeks after I tapped out. It went away. I was sleeping regular again. Not as hard as I used to, but still sleeping regular. What did I mention? The fatigue, the insomnia, the body pain, just feeling weak, the loss of like muscle mass. I'm not some big ripped up person, but I was what you call country strong around here. Not as strong as an ox, but I had a belly too, and that's another thing. Anyways, so when I came home, my belt was pretty tight. I lost 86 pounds, and I was just extremely tired. I could barely do anything. All the stuff that I wanted to do or that I needed to do, it just took days because I would wear out so fast. And I wanted to spend time with my son and stuff, and he's built like his daddy. He's not a small boy, and so he wants to rough house and stuff like that. Boy, he wore me out, and especially since I was so small. But I put the weight back on, as you can see. I'm gonna jump off of the short term, and we'll get into the long term. And sorry if I bounce back and forth. This is all just kind of coming to me. This is unscripted. I'm just sitting here carving, talking to you guys. Some of the long term effects that I felt and that I still feel, because they are long term, is back pain. I still have a lot of back pain. My back gets thrown out pretty easily because it just hurts, the anxiety, my back pain's pretty bad. I can't even sleep laying down, laying flat. I can, but man, it hurts so bad. The pain in my feet. Like I said, I had a foot injury before, so there's always been pain there for the past 6 or 7 years. There's been pain there, but it kind of magnified it, I guess. Another thing is I have a really low tolerance to cold in my feet. Excuse me. It's crazy because I've always burned up. And I never wore socks to bed. And now I wear socks to bed constantly. If not every night, a lot of nights. Even in the summertime, because my feet will freeze. And it's so uncomfortable, and it hurts because they get so cold. Another thing, and this is something that I worry about a lot, is a separation anxiety. not just for me, because I had separation anxiety whenever I first got back home. I'm sure I drove my wife crazy because, she said, I'm going to the store. It's like, well, I'll go with you. you know, she didn't want to tell me no or nothing. She wouldn't do that anyways, but I'm sure I drove her nuts. She's a saint. But anyways, so separation anxiety from my son, that's something I worry about a lot. And I just got back from a hunt with a good friend of mine, and it'll most likely be up pretty soon. But a lot of footage, so bear with me. But separation anxiety from him, or for him, whatever. How he feels about me not being here overnight or over a few nights. I do worry about that. Also, he can't tell us, hey, I really don't. Hey, Daddy, I really don't want you to go, or hey, I hope you're all right. I hope you get something or something like that. He can't tell us that. He can't tell us that he's worried or nothing. And I know he has an understanding of what I'm telling him, but even when I tell him, hey, I'm going to be gone for a few days, I just don't think it sinks in until I'm not there, so it's rough on him too. That's why if you've invited me somewhere and I've turned you down, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Another thing is the anxiety. It started, the short term started, it was, my anxiety was so bad. Like I said, there was very few people at base camp. And so whenever they sent me home, all of a sudden I'm in Atlanta airport surrounded by 1,000 people, and my brain just can't take it. There's just too many people, and I can't handle it. And had a damn panic attack right there, but found my wife and she got me outside, and I got to see my son for the first time, and so on and so forth, blah blah blah. That's the story. But the anxiety, it's calmed down a lot. For like 2 months, I couldn't even walk into Walmart because there was just too many people there. So if we had to go to the store, I would hang out in the car with my son. My wife would go do whatever she needed to, and I would just sit there and carve or something. And so that actually helped me through a lot of the anxiety, but it's still there. It's not as bad. I still get anxious around a whole lot of people. I got to do it in doses. I don't like being around a whole lot of people for too much. I've always been kind of a recluse like that, but it's bad now. And I have this anxiety over being driven somewhere and other people on the road. You ever see the commercial where the mom or the dad's teaching the kid to drive and they are having a heart attack in the passenger seat, stomping on the floorboard of their imaginary brake? And that's me. Like I said, Hazel's a saint because she deals with it. But if I'm not driving, it drives me crazy. I can't stand, I'm that guy that's like, look, you got to hit your brake. Somebody's brake light just came on and they're 200 yards ahead of us. And if you don't slow down, we're going to rear end them in the parking lot. So, and I know it's funny or whatever, but it's true too. So I got kind of like I said, this has not been diagnosed, but I've kind of got like a eating disorder too from it. I've put on a lot of weight since then. And it's because it's not like I don't know what eating disorder this would qualify as, but it's not like I just sit there and glutton myself all day, every day, just meal after meal after meal. I may eat once or twice a day and some snacks, depending on what I'm doing. And but I've got this thing where if I get full and there's still a little bit of food on my plate, I got to eat that. I don't want to waste it. Before it was like give that to the dog, you know, but now it's like I something in my mind tells me I have to eat that, and I don't even really notice it until I've finished the plate, and I'm like, man, now I feel miserable because I'm overly full because I couldn't stop eating the stuff on my plate, you know. And if that's an actual uh, eating disorder, let me know. Put it in the comments so that I know what to research for myself, because I really don't like going to the doctor. I will say this about the History Channel alone, whoever does it, they do let you go to the doctor afterwards. They pay for it. They take care of it. You know, they want they want you to be healthy, physically and mentally. I don't like doctors. I don't like doctors. Not like, oh, you're a bad person because you're a doctor, but I just don't. I'm not comfortable with medical treatments, if that makes any sense. I don't like going and getting blood work and stuff like that, because I'm always that guy that's paranoid that I go in and they take my blood to check my iron. They're like, you got 6 months, buddy. And then there I am. So I try not to go to doctors. But they do. They let you go to a doctor and get checked up or whatever. I just didn't. I just kind of dealt with it the good old fashioned way, and probably wasn't the best idea, but you know, it was my choice, and that's what I did. But the eating disorder has caused a lot of weight gain, and with weight gain comes fatigue, loss of breath, stuff like that. Loss of breath, like heavy breathing, barely doing anything, and you're breathing like you just ran a marathon. And just, I guess, step one is acknowledging the problem. So I'm moving on to step two as soon as I can. There's a lot of little things that come from it. And you know, not all of it's bad. I went into the woods with my own little set of addictions. I wasn't strung out on drugs or anything like that, but I went in with my own little set of addictions, and I've cut ties with all of those. I went out there and I was able to really look at myself, if that makes any sense, and with nothing to cloud my mind to block what I actually needed to see about myself. So that was a great thing there. I don't know if those would have stopped without that. So that's a great thing about the show. If you have problems, it's a way to heal yourself for sure. But just like every medication, it takes a toll on you, and you wind up with some other side effect. Like I say, not all of it's bad. I've never met such great people before. A multitude of great people. There's been a lot of trolls. The keyboard warriors and the armchair survivalists that love to tell you everything that you did wrong, like they were standing beside you watching you do it. But those are so few compared to all the great people that I've met and that I've talked to. Everybody that has really touched our lives. I just want to take this moment to say thank you to all of you again. You have no idea, and I wish there were words to describe what all of this has meant to us. Thank you. So it's not all bad. There's a lot of good that comes from the show. But the negative effects of it are what really wears your body down. You know, it's an extremely stressful thing. That's where the anxiety comes from. You're out there by yourself and you're under constant stress trying to survive. And then all of a sudden, you're through back into society and everybody just looks at you because I don't know if you saw the pictures, but I mean, to put it lightly, I looked like a crackhead whenever I came out. My face was all sunk in. You know, my eyes were huge. I had this great big bushy beard that was just unkept, period. And people looked at me like I was strung out on something, you know. And what do you do when you see somebody that's strung out on something? It's human nature to stare at them. It's not the best thing in the world to do, and it sucks whenever people do it, but they stared at me, and that made my anxiety even worse. So the anxiety was pretty bad. The back pain, as I've always had a little bit of back pain, but it has never been as intense as it was after I came off the show. After my time out there, the back pain was just terrible, absolutely horrible. And yeah, don't really know what else to say about it. Pretty rough go on the the anniversary of the tap out, because like I say, it affects everybody different. I'm not just trying to sit here and cry or whatever, but depression hits me pretty hard sometimes because of that tap out. And one of those, oh, I should have done better. I could have done this and I could have done that. And you know, the past is the past, 2020 or whatever. And nothing I can do about it now, but it still sucks. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for listening to me rant.